Welcome to the Power Zone podcast. It is June 23rd, 2017. Still using the new microphone and still liking the way I sound on it. So this microphone, this Samsung microphone is really good. Time to talk a little bit about the All-Star game coming up, and it's going to be on July 11th from Miami, and July 10th will be the All-Star game, and I want to go over my All-Star game ballot that I did. So every player in the league voted for every position that I was able to vote for, and here are my positions who I voted for. And beginning at first base in the American League, I voted for Mike Napoli of the Texas Rangers. Seems like he's had a good year at first base, and seems like he's had a good year at first base. When you look at the stat sheet, I mean, the batting average is 200, but 14 home runs, 32 RBIs. Napoli's always had talent with the bat in his hand, and he Texas right now looking up in the standings at Houston. And in the National League, the first baseman that I chose Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs. 265 batting average, 17 home runs, 47 RBIs for Rizzo. He's having a solid season as the Cubs looking to repeat as champions, although Joey Votto of the Red, not a bad batting average for him either. 306, 20 home runs, 53 RBIs, but I went with Rizzo because, well, got to have a Cub in there, right? So we move on now to second base, and I voted for Jose Altuve of the Houston Astros. 322 batting average, 10 home runs, 34 RBIs. Really having a special season for the Astros at second base. And for second base for the National League, I chose our young stud Javier Baez. 249 batting average, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs for Javier Baez, and his defense is just as good, if not better, than his offense. One of the best second basemen, one of the best young finds in the game. And for a shortstop, we got Carlos Correa, and he's also having a special season for the Astros. I mean, he's got 303 batting average, 14 homers, 47 RBIs. And for the National League shortstop, I chose one of the young kids, Kyle Seager of the Dodgers, and Corey Seager of the Dodgers. I always get him and his brother confused. Corey Seager, 293 batting average, 12 home runs, 38 RBIs. So for you Dodger fans who are listening, it was like, it's Corey Seager, not Kyle Seager. Yeah, you're right. I fixed it. So at third base for the American League, I chose Mike Moustakas of the Kansas City Royals. And Moustakas has had a good season. 278 average, 19 homers, 46 RBIs. And for third base in the National League, of course, I went with Chris Bryant of the Cubs. Bryant, 264 batting average, 16 home runs, 31 RBIs, and a bright spot for the Cubs offensively in their repeat in their season after they won the World Series. So I chose Bryant, and I chose Moustakas. Be interesting to see either he stays with the Royals or if they trade him away in the offseason. For catcher, I moved on. I picked Buster Posey of the Giants. And Buster Posey, I mean, as great as his offensive stats have been, 344 average, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs, even better stats, his game behind the plate that he calls for his pitchers. And the uproar over whether or not Buster Posey should have gotten involved between that brawl that broke out between Hunter Strickland and Bryce Harper was nonsense, I thought. And I chose Gary Sanchez of the Yankees, and Sanchez for the American League. I chose him to be their catcher. And moving on now to the Moving on now to the outfield. To the designated hitter spot in the American League, I chose Nelson Cruz and chose him to be the designated hitter for the American League. For the outfield, I chose three very good players in their own right. Josh Reddick for Houston, Carlos Gomez to the Rangers, who hit for the cycle in the season. His batting average up to about 300 now. And Mookie Betts, an impressive young outfielder for the Boston Red Sox, and a guy who Theo Epstein spoke very highly of back when he was a prospect. And for the National League, I've chosen Bryce Harper. For the Nationals, I've chosen Giancarlo Stanton, who can hit a baseball a mile. One of the few bright spots for the Marlins in Miami, and for the last spot in the National League outfield, I chose a guy who, I've said he's talented, but he doesn't play the game the right way. And he's Yasiel Puig of the Dodgers. He's talented, but eventually, when you start alienating players from other teams and you alienate your own teammates, the ride doesn't end well. Please see Zambrano/Carlos for that example. So I thought this would be a fun one today. This is my All-Star Game ballot. This is who I've chosen, and you can vote for the All-Star Game players. You can vote for them. Voting ends June 29th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So what are you waiting for? Now that I've told you who I voted for the All-Star Game, make your picks, get them in, have fun, and we'll watch the American League and National League play ball on July 11th in Miami.